It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, KCAL 9 presents the Dodgers as they take on the Colorado Rockies. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Wednesday evening to you, wherever you may be. Things going pretty well for the home nine. They're not only trying to sweep the Rockies, they're trying to climb over the Rockies and get into third place with a victory tonight. The Dodgers have now beaten the Rockies 4 out of 5 here at Dodger Stadium, and they're certainly on a roll, playing pretty well here. They've won 8 of the last 9 here at home. The pitchers for tonight: Aaron Cook will be on the mound for Colorado. He is 1-5, and the Dodgers counter with Hiroki Kuroda with a record of 6-12. So for the Dodgers, trying to move upward, they were 12 games back of the Giants, but the Rockies are 11.5 behind, so the Dodgers could climb over them with a victory tonight. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this. Is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of the day. And by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Wednesday evening to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Dodger Stadium for the final game of the three-game series between the Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies. Dodgers trying to sweep the Rockies here at Dodger Stadium for the first time since April of 2009. They're certainly on a roll. The Dodgers have beaten Colorado 70 out of 104 times at Dodger Stadium. And, of course, for Jim Tracy, who formerly managed here, that indeed is a bitter pill to swallow. For the Rockies, the name's on Tracy's card. It's Eric Young leading off in left field, Dexter Fowler in center, and then you have Troy Tulowitzki at short. Seth Smith hits cleanup in right field. Ty Wigginton at first base. Ian Stewart is at third. Mark Ellis at second base. ELLIEZER ALFONZO behind the plate, and Aaron Cook on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, the 36-year-old Hiroki Kuroda. The right-hander is 0-4 in his career against the Rockies in 8 starts. Last time he faced them was last year in September at Coors Field, and he did not have a decision. For Hiroki, it has been one bitter game after another. Since his victory on the 17th of May, he is 1-9 with one no decision. So he's looking for his first victory ever against Colorado. He is 6-12 against the league. For Kuroda, there's his name swirling around in baseball. This is that time of the year. There are those writing that this might very well be the last game he pitches at Dodger Stadium, but we have no idea whether that's going to hold up or not. All we know is he's a terrific guy, and he's on the mound for the Dodgers. The Dodgers with the leather behind him. Well, you have Gwynn, Kemp, and Deethier in the outfield. Miles for Call, Carroll, and Loney on the infield. Rod Barajas will handle Hiroki. We conduct in a final score. The Giants beat the Phillies 2-1. Matt Cain won his 9th. He's now 9-6. He outdueled Cole Hamels. Reports coming out of the East Coast have Carlos Beltran leaving the Mets in Cincinnati to join the Giants in Philadelphia tomorrow night. But that is not official. It's only a report. So we'll have to wait and see about the confirmation. Meanwhile, we don't have to wait and see Eric Young. EY takes a strike, and we're underway. Young came off the bench last night, had an infield single at third, and eventually came around to score a run. The strike one pitch on the way. EY pulls away. It's at the point of the right shoulder, and the count 1-1 strike. Recently in St. Louis, EY went 3 for 6 to sharpen up. Though the left-hand hitter waiting, he switches and hits one foul off to the left upstairs, and it's a 1-2 strike count. Hiroki Kuroda trying to keep it going. The Dodgers have won 4 straight. They've won 8 of the last 9 here at Dodger Stadium. They have won 4 of 5 at home against Colorado, and should they beat the Rockies tonight, they would climb over Colorado and move into third place. EY has a look at a pitch low and a 2-2 strike count. For Jim Tracy, his club was favored to perhaps be the team that would upend San Francisco, but it has just gone down the tubes, and Eric Young swings and strikes out. So down goes EY, and we have 1 out in the first inning. The pitch that he tries to slap down at and comes up empty. So Kuroda begins the night with a strikeout, and now Dexter Fowler. Fowler up and down in the Colorado organization. He's a real daddy longlegs. He's fun to watch, especially in the wide open spaces of Denver. And for the Rockies, they are happy to see what he's been doing in this series. Game 1, he had 2 hits and a walk and was robbed of a 3rd hit. He takes a pitch up and in. He just did get out of the way of it. 1 ball and no strikes. Last night, Fowler came back with 3 singles. That was a little too close for comfort. 1 ball and no strikes. Dexter back up, switch hitter batting left-handed. Kuroda delivers, and it is swung on, popped in the air. For call, angles out on the grass. Coming in behind him, Tony Gwynn, but it's for call making the catch. So Fowler pops it up, and we have 2 down in the first inning, and Troy Tulowitzki checking in. A beautiful summer's evening. It is 70 degrees right now, a little bit cooler than last night. In fact, each of the 3 games, the temperature has gone down a little. Monday night it was 79. Last night 75, and tonight 70. So here's Tulowitzki, the cleanup hitter who has failed to clean up, hitting .277, and he's way out in front of a splitter in the count 0-1. Troy with 19 home runs, 67 runs batted in. One of the huge reasons why the Dodgers have won the first 2 is what the 2 teams have done in the series with runners in scoring position. Kuroda ready in the strike 1 pitch, and Tulowitzki takes low, 1-1. The Rockies are 3 for 24 to break Jim Tracy's heart. They're hitting .125. The Dodgers are 8 for 18, hitting .444. And Tulowitzki has been one of the big problems. Not in the first game because he walked 3 times, but then he really had an opportunity as he swings and fouls it away. In the 9th inning of Game 1, you may remember, as the Rockies tried to get back into it, trailing 8-5, they had the bases loaded, 1 out, and the cleanup hitter Troy Tulowitzki, and he popped up to second base. Then last night they had second and third and 1 out. He popped up to first base. Later on, with runners at first and second in the 5th inning last night, he struck out. So Tulowitzki carrying the burden, and the 1-2 pitch in the dirt, and a new ball put in play. 2-2 the count. As far as Kuroda going head-to-head with Tulowitzki, Troy does have a home run, but hitting only .182 against him. Todd Helton, who is not in the starting lineup, has a home run against Kuroda in the past. Hiroki at attention on the first base side of the rubber, and the 2-2 pitch on the way. Tulo swings and misses, and his struggle continues. Kuroda, meanwhile, strikes out 2, and at the end of half an inning, Rockies nothing, Dodgers coming up. Strikes out 2 of the 3, goes back to sit down, and the Dodgers coming up. We'll check the card. Tony Gwynn in left, Rafael Furcal at short, and Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp. Aaron Miles at third, James Loney at first, Rod Barajas behind the plate, Jamie Carroll at second base, and Hiroki Kuroda on the mound. On the mound for the Rockies, tough luck Aaron Cook out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, lives in Loveland, Ohio. The Rockies picked him a number 2 pick. His best year, 2008, he won 16, but he's had all kinds of physical problems, including this year, starting in spring training and the end of last year. Tony Gwynn checks in against him, and the left-hander looks at his strike. 0-1. Tony batting .260 with 13 runs batted in, doing a wonderful job day in and day out in left field. Gwynn waiting. They shorten up in the event of a bunt attempt, and the pitch on the outside corner. So Gwynn with a no-ball 2-strike count. Aaron Cook, at the end of last year, was hit by a line drive middle of September that finished him for the remainder of the year. Line drive off the bat of Joey Votto. The next pitch is low, 1-2 the count. Last year, he started in spring training, and he fractured his right index finger, went on the DL again. But perhaps the serious point of Aaron Cook was the fact that in 2005, he won the Tony Conigliaro Award. Gwynn, meanwhile, little roller up along first, the feed by Cook in time, and we have one away. And you might wonder, what's the Conigliaro Award? It's given to a player who has overcome adversity and shown spirit, determination, and courage for his return from a brush with death. And, of course, that gets your attention. What happened was in August of 2004, he was on the DL with blood clots that started in his right shoulder, spread into both lungs, and they treated him with blood thinners. He was very dizzy, and he had to leave a game against the Reds, feeling lightheaded. Furcal runs up in the box, checks his swing, and takes high, ball 1, 1-0. Raphael batting just .185. A home run, 11 runs batted in. Back comes Cookie, and he works a strike, and the count 1-1. On deck, Andre Ethier. 1 out, first inning, no score. Aaron into the windup, comes right back, and Furcal promptly strokes it into right field for a base hit. Raphael Furcal, a single to right, and the batter will be Andre Ethier. Just to finish up with the trials and tribulations of Aaron Cook, they had the top rib on his right side removed. That relieved compression on a vein. It was that vein that was not getting the blood through to the right shoulder. But they finally got him squared away. But he really has been through the mill. He is 32 years old, 6'3", 210, red-haired with kind of sleepy eyes. That's the best way to describe him. And here now is Andre Ethier with Furcal at first. Cook set, ready, and deals, and the first one on the outside corner for a strike. For Andre Ethier, he's batting .297. He has 10 home runs, 47 runs batted in. And against Aaron Cook, he's hitting .429, including 2 home runs. 0-1 the count to Ethier. Cook watching Furcal. Now back to the hitter. Line drive, grabbed at third, throw to first, not in time. So a line drive right at Ian Stewart, who fired to first, but Furcal did not have a big enough lead to be doubled up. So Ethier hits a bullet to Ian Stewart, and the throw not in time. So 2 out, a runner at first, and Matt Kemp coming up. Matt Kemp is hitting .231 in the past against Aaron Cook, but like Ethier, he also has 2 home runs against Cook. This year, Aaron Cook has allowed just 2 home runs in the equivalent of 5 games. Aaron out of his stretch, Furcal off the bag. Kemp waiting at the plate. Right-hander backs off the rubber and then bluffs a throw. Raphael has stolen 5 out of 7. And Matt Kemp waiting at the plate. For Aaron Cook, this is his best time of the year. In his career, the month of July, he's 19-10. Aaron, right foot on the rubber, set just about up at the collarbone, now drops it a hair. Kemp, meanwhile, fouls it away. No balls and 1 strike to Matt. Big center fielder, hitting .310, 24 home runs, 75 runs batted in. Matt doubled in 2 runs last night. In the first game, they walked him twice, and he was 1 for 3. 2 out, first inning, no score. Aaron Cook out of a stretch. For a call, who single to right field, draws the throw and gets back standing up. Well, would you believe it? Pittsburgh and Atlanta, they went 19 innings last night. Well, they have just gone into the 10th inning tonight. They're tied up 1-1. So they're facing at least 29 innings in 24 hours. 0-1 the count. The strike one pitch to Matt Kemp. For a call, bluffs the pitch is low, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Dodgers particularly tough in 1-run games, and of course they really had to bear down to hold on and win 3-2 last night. Dodgers in 1-run games at home have won 12 and lost only 3. Though for call, getting a lot of attention, as he usually does when he's on base. Held on by Ty Wigginton. And the 1-1 pitch on the way. Cook delivers. Kemp, it's a line drive, and it's through into left field for a base hit. Tulowitzki lunging to backhand, but couldn't do it. So the Dodgers, 2 base hits, and remember that bullet came off the bat of Ethier for an out. So Cook hasn't really fooled anybody. First and second, 2 out, and Aaron Miles coming up. Aaron Miles, the switch hitter, is 0 for 9 against Aaron Cook. Hitting .306 with a home run, 27 runs batted in. So Aaron, hitting left-handed, checks in. 2 on, 2 out, first inning, no score. Cook out of a stretch. A quick look back at Furcal, and the pitch to Miles taken for a strike, and the count 0-1. Aaron playing third base, which reminds us to tell you that Casey Blake actually took some ground balls at third base. So it was good to see him moving around. Casey on the railing along with Dave Hansen and Clayton Kershaw. Strike one pitch coming up. Cook ready. Here he comes. Fastball, and that's low. 1-1. With Cook, you're going to get a sinking fastball. He usually averages at least 8 double plays a year. He throws a cutter, so if you're hitting left-handed, you might see that. He has a good slider and a circle change. At one time, he worked on a splitter, but the Rockies told him to ditch it, and he did a few years ago. 1 ball and 1 strike to Aaron Miles. Cook ready and deals on the hands, turned and pulled foul, and the count 1-2. Dodgers off tomorrow, and then Arizona will be here. For the D-backs, they began the day 3 back, but as we told you, the Giants outpitched the Phillies tonight 2-1. Matt Cain over Cole Hamels. Miles with a 1-2 count. Friday night, Ted Lilly will go against Josh Colmenter. The runners go, and the pitch is a ground ball to right side. Up with it is Mark Ellis to make the play, and the inning is over. So Miles grounds to second. The Dodgers get 2 hits and leave 2. And at the end of an inning, Rockies nothing, Dodgers nothing. Ticket booths throughout Dodger Stadium or from your Aaron Cook made 16 pitches to retire the Dodgers the hard way. 2 base hits and a line drive. So now Hiroki Kuroda will start working against Seth Smith, Ty Wigginton, and then Ian Stewart. Seth Smith hitting .287, left-hand hitter with 8 home runs, 42 runs batted in, and takes one away, ball 1, 1-0. Seth Smith has a lot of extra base hits, not just the 8 home runs. He has 25 doubles and 7 triples, and promptly bangs one hopper into right field for a leadoff single. So the Rockies trying to salvage 1 of 3. Smith leads off with a single, and Ty Wigginton coming up. Wigginton, who really undermined a tremendous effort by ELLIS last night, trying to catch just an ordinary fly ball one-handed, and he dropped it. And the next thing you know, a walk to the next hitter, a double by Kemp, and Chacin had lost a heartbreaker. Ty hitting .254. He's playing first base tonight. They rest Todd Helton. Kuroda out of a high set, comes to the plate in the dirt. Nice save by Barajas. Boy, it has really been interesting to watch both Barajas and Navarro do a tremendous job of blocking pitches in the dirt. Terrific. Oh, by the way, in Atlanta, it ended in 10 innings tonight. Former Dodger David Ross got a base hit, and Atlanta beat the Pirates 2-1. The 1-0 pitch is low. 2-0 the count to Ty Wigginton, with Ian Stewart on deck. Wigginton has certainly been around a long time. A veteran who was originally signed by the Mets back in 1998. Smith at first, nobody out, no score, second inning. Kuroda ready, Hiroki delivers. That one is off the plate, so he's behind 3-0. Seth Smith doesn't do a lot of running, but he has stolen 4 out of 5. Wigginton has power. He has 13 home runs. They might green light him, and if he likes a pitch, he could be swinging 3-0. Kuroda out of a stretch, and the 3-0 pitch is taken on the outside corner for a strike. 3-1. Rockies looking for the team's 100th home run. They've hit 56 at home, 43 on the road. Kuroda set, turns and looks over at Seth Smith. Now the right-hander ready, and the 3-1 pitch to Wigginton with the runner going is ball 4. So Kuroda now in a little bit of a jam, a leadoff single and a walk, and Ian Stewart coming up, followed by Mark Ellis, and then ELIEZER ALFONZO. Well, if you want to figure out just how tough it is to be in the big leagues, all you'd have to do is talk to Ian Stewart. I mean, here is a good, solid player and really struggling. He's hit as many as 25 home runs in the big leagues. He has nothing in that column this year. Nothing. Just 2 runs batted in. Promptly swings, doesn't get the first one, and the count 0-1. You hate to really drive nails into a fella, but it's just part of his story. With runners in scoring position this year, and he has a man, Smith, at second base right now, Stewart is 0 for 19. And they really figured he was going to be a big bread and butter man. The strike 1 pitch, Kuroda delivers, and that's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ian is a local boy from Long Beach. Went to La Quinta High School. Last we checked, he lived in Garden Grove. 6'3", 205, and with it all, he's still only 26. Stewart waiting, and Kuroda ready. Another look back at Smith. The pitch to Stewart. Pop fly, shallow center. Kemp coming and makes the catch on the run. So Ian Stewart, a little looper to center field, and the struggle goes on. You know what they always say about the big leagues? It's very tough to get here, but it is even tougher to stay here. And for Stewart, another frustrating at bat. And the batter now is Mark Ellis. Ellis, a newcomer to the Rockies squad, a career batting average of .265. He's hitting .299, so he's doing very well. 2 home runs, 11 runs batted in. With the A's 4 years ago, he had 19 home runs. That's his major league high. Right-hand batter. Kuroda looks at the runners, and with 1 out, comes to his hitter, and Ellis promptly swings and doesn't get it. 1 away. Mark Ellis is the pride of Rapid City, South Dakota. However, once he got old enough to go to college, he went to the Sun. He went to school at the University of Florida. 0-1 the count. Right-hand batter waiting. Kuroda comes back to him. Fastball fouled off, and the count 0-2. Ellis last night with the bat, 0 for 3 with a sacrifice, but he was also embarrassed on a pop fly by Juan Rivera. He went back into shallow right field, and as he caught the ball, he was kind of clipped by a charging Ryan Spilborghs. That upended Ellis, and the Dodgers got a gift run scored by Matt Kemp, and that turned out to be the winning run. Strike 2 pitch coming up to Ellis, and it's off the plate. Ball 1. 1-2 the count to Mark. 5'11", 180. Originally signed by Kansas City in 1999, but he came up to the A's, and he was with them from 2002, really, into this year. The 1-2 pitch coming up. And Ellis swings, hits a big chopper to short. CARROLL throws and just did get him. And the runners move up. Tough play. Ball was not hit hard enough. For a moment you thought maybe Miles could get to it, but he couldn't. And so on the dead run, going one way and throwing the other, CARROLL made the play, accepted the challenge, and did very well. That was a hard play. So now the Rockies have second and third. ELIEZER, ALFONZO, the catcher, hitting .231. They rest Chris Iannetta. Alfonzo, no home runs, no RBIs, and he's been around a while. Right-hand batter, and the first pitch is low, ball 1. When you have a runner at third and you have Kuroda on the hill, it's a pretty good idea to check. And the answer to the question, how many wild pitches? Well, live by the splitter, etc. He has 11 wild pitches. Alfonzo from Puerto La Cruz in Venezuela, up there with first base open, 2 outs. The 1-0 pitch is grounded foul, and that'll go back, and I think he cracked the bat. 1 ball and 1 strike. An even 6 and 220. Alfonzo was originally signed by the Cardinals back in 1996. By the time he came to the big leagues, it was 10 years later, and he came up with the Giants. So 10 years in the minors, that's a rough trip. He had 2 years with the Giants, then he went back down in their system, surfaced briefly in 08. Then the next thing you know, he played for the Padres and the Mariners and now the Rockies. 32 years old, been playing a lot. ELIEZER ALFONZO. Kuroda out of his stretch, runners at second and third, and the 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on and missed, and the count 1-2. For Alfonzo, his first major league hit was a home run against Orlando Hernandez. Great way to start. Little tattoo peeking out from under his left sleeve. It's a tattoo of his son. Alfonzo waiting, first base open. Aaron Cook waiting on deck. No score, second inning. He had Smith single to right and Wigginton walk. Stewart pop fly to center. Ellis grounded out. And the 1-2 pitch coming up. Kuroda very deliberate. Here he comes, works it away with a fastball at 94, and the count 2-2. Rockies are 31-44. They're 13 games under 500 against right-hand pitching. 2-2, and of course they missed their biggest gun, Carlos Gonzalez. 2-2 pitch on the way. Alfonzo strokes it to center. Kemp has to leap in the air to make the catch. Matt frozen on that line drive, and all of a sudden it took off. And with those great reflexes, he was able to reach up and pick it off at the end of an inning and a half, no score. Ball game. By the way, the Rockies in the second inning had 3 more chances to drive in a run. Hello there, sunshine. A brand new little baby wearing a Dodger t-shirt, and he's ready for action. Anyway, they had 3 chances to drive in a run, and they failed to do it. So the Rockies are now 3 for 27 with runners in scoring position in the series. That is a 111 batting average. So carrying the weight of all of that, Aaron Cook goes back to work against James Loney, Rod Barajas, and Jamie Carroll. Loney hitting .257, and the first pitch down and away, ball 1. He has 4 home runs, 33 runs batted in. Loney and Cook. Loney is hitting .278 against the right-hander. Dodgers left a runner at second for call in the first inning. 1-0 pitch, ground ball to first. Nice big hop for Wigginton. He takes it to the bag, and just like that, 1 away. You know, every Friday night home game is Friday night fireworks presented by Pizza Hut. All fans invited onto the field after the game to enjoy the show. The next fireworks night this Friday at 7:10 with the D-backs. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. Dodgers will not see Colorado again after tonight until the weekend of the 19th of August. They'll play them 3, and then the Rockies will come back here at the end of August. The first pitch to Rod Barajas is low, ball 1, 1-0 to the Dodger catcher, hitting .210, 8 home runs, 21 runs batted in. The 1-0 pitch, Rod grounds it foul outside of third. Barajas 3 for 8 in the pass against Aaron Cook. So Aaron Cook, once upon a time a 16-game winner, and certainly in Colorado they thought maybe they were going to have a 20-game winner, but it didn't work. Fastball, and that's hit foul. 1-2 the count. Couple of notes about Aaron Cook. If he's in the hole to the hitter, if the hitter is ahead in the count, the batting average against him is .410. So he really has to stay out in front. Right now he's 1-2. Cook's 1-2 pitch, fastball popped in the air, foul. Wigginton comes over at the railing, leans in and makes the catch. So a nice play by Ty Wigginton, and Rod Barajas is retired on the foul ball. So Wigginton taking 2 putouts here in the inning, and the batter now will be Jamey Carroll. Wigginton, nice as you please, reaching over the railing. So Ty caught it one-handed, but you can understand that one-handed catch as opposed to last night. And here's Jamey Carroll. Jamey Carroll hitting .291, and the first pitch missing, 1 ball and no strikes. Carroll, as always, I have to ask him one day, when was the last time you swung at the first pitch? Here's the 1-0 pitch to Jamey, and he has a look, and that's on the corner, and a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Cook can be very tough in very tough situations. With runners in scoring position, the hitters are hitting less than .250 against him. Ground ball to Tulowitzki. Tulo makes the play, and it's a 1-2-3 inning in the second. So down go the Dodgers, and at the end of 2, no score. Rockies and Dodgers, the big story in baseball today, and certainly here in Southern California. It took 6 years, but Ervin Santana finally paid back the Cleveland Indians. Santana, in his debut at Cleveland back in 2005, gave up the cycle to the first 4 batters he ever faced in the big leagues. Well, he came into the game against Cleveland today. No wins, 6 losses lifetime. Gave up an unearned run in the first inning, and then pitched a no-hitter as the Angels beat the Indians 3-1. There were 5 errors by Cleveland to really mess up the game. Aaron Cook takes a strike, 0-1 the count. So Cook, Young, and Fowler, and Kuroda into the windup. Hiroki back with a fastball low. He's been 94 for a high. That was 92. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kuroda reads Barajas, and the 1-1 pitch, slider swung on and missed, and the count 1-2. Hiroki with marvelous control throughout his career. In fact, he's had a 4-year career over here, and he's averaged 2 walks a game. Hiroki's 1-2 pitch to Aaron Cook, taken off the plate. 2-2 the count. No score, 3rd inning. Each side had a chance. Kuroda rocks and turns, hesitates, delivers, and drops it low. Ball 3. Rockies at first and second, and nobody out in the 2nd inning. Failed to score. Dodgers had first and second in the bottom of the 1st and came up empty. 3-2 pitch to Cook is swung on, soft line drive, snared on the fly by Carroll. So that takes care of Cook. 1 away. And the batter, Eric Young. You know, Tuesday, August 9th, Duke Snider bobblehead night presented by State Farm. Dodgers celebrating the life of the Hall of Famer as the Dodgers take on the Phillies at 7:10. To take home your own mini Duke of Flatbush, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. I remember in Brooklyn when I found out that Duke Snider raised avocados, and I thought, wow, what a strange job for a ball player, but anything but. Eric Young takes a strike and the count 0-1. EY hitting .231, 3 runs batted in, reminds you a great deal of his dad. There in the 3rd inning, Arizona San Diego, no score. And the pitch of the plate, that's in there for a strike. Young thought it was high. 0-2 the count. In that Arizona San Diego game, Ian Kennedy against Corey Lupke. Kennedy comes in 11-3 for the D-backs. He beat the Dodgers when we were in Arizona. The next pitch to EY is fouled off, so Eric is still there. No balls and 2 strikes. His dad, a very well-educated man besides a fine ball player. Father went to school at Rutgers back in New Jersey, where EY Jr. was born. He takes on a check swing, no swing, says third base umpire Dan Bellino. Dan Bellino is the umpire we talked about last night. He has a law degree. He passed the bar. So they're not going to get into very many arguments about the rule books, not with Dan Bellino. The 1-2 pitch is foul back, though EY is still there. One and 2 the count. Young playing left field, about 5'10", but bends at the knees and waist, and fouls another one off. EY would love to have the abilities that his dad had. One year, EY stole 53 bases for the Rockies and wound up stealing 180 in his career with the Rockies. 1-2 the count. Kuroda, both feet on the first base side of the rubber. The 1-2 pitch on the way, looked at for strike 3 called. So EY strikes out a second time in 2 trips. We have 2 out in the 3rd inning. And for Kuroda, that would be his 3rd strikeout. So 2 down, and Dexter Fowler coming up. Fowler popped up to Rafael Furcal in the 1st inning. For Kuroda, with 2 out in the 3rd, he has made 44 pitches. And Hiroki working on the switch hitter, batting left-handed. Fowler takes off speed and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Dexter's from Alpharetta, Georgia. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Fowler takes a high strike. It just dipped in. Of course, he is 6'4", weighs about 175. Drafted by the Rockies 7 years ago. The next pitch to him a little low. 2-1 to Dexter Fowler. Kuroda looks down the barrel, getting a sign. Hirogi's 2-1 pitch on the way. Fowler swings, hits it foul off to the left, out of play, and the count 2-2. Dexter Fowler is 25 years old. Came up to the Rockies in 08 and 9, went down in 9, came up in 10, went down in 10, and he's been up and down this year. 2-2, and now time requested and granted by Tony Randazzo, the plate umpire. 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, lifted into center. Routine play for Matt Kemp as he casually one-hands it, which I hate to see. So down go the Rockies, 1-2-3, and at the end of 2.5 innings, no score. The third inning, the Dodgers and the Rockies. It'll be Hiroki Kuroda followed by Tony Gwynn and Rafael Furcal. If anybody gets on, Andre Ethier. Cook into the windup. Aaron ready. Here he comes. And the first pitch a little low. Ball one. Kuroda hitting a little more than a half a buck. He has 2 hits. And he has struck out a third of the time. He backs off, takes a strike. Pretty good bunter. He has 3 sacrifices. Cook into his windup, and the 1-1 pitch on the way, punched on the ground to the right side. Mark Ellis makes the play, 1 away. When you talk to Aaron Cook about a turning point in his career, it was, I think, about his 3rd year in the minor leagues. He was in Class A. The pitching coach, Bob McClure, who pitched certainly in the big leagues, and Bob McClure took young Aaron Cook during the playoffs and said, I'm going to call every pitch. And Cook in 2 games had 17 shutout innings where every pitch was called from the bench. And as he said, it was a tremendous education under fire, and that pretty much got him on his way to the big leagues. 1 away. Here's Gwynn. He hit back to the box in the first inning. Cook ready, deals, and that's low, ball 1. No score, bottom of the 3rd. Dodgers no runs, 2 hits. Rockies no runs, 1 hit. 2 4-game streaks on the line. Hard ground ball knocked down by Wigginton, and he'll take it to the bag. So that'll do it for Gwynn, and we have 2 out in the 3rd inning. The 4-game streaks, the Dodgers have won 4 in a row, and the Rockies have lost 4 in a row. For Mattingly, he's seeing light at the end of the tunnel. The team has won 8 out of 9 at home. They still have 3 more at home with Arizona on the weekend. before going out to San Diego and Arizona. Let's face it, the Dodgers 8 games under 500 on the road as Furcal takes the strike. So they have their work cut out for him. 0-1 to Rafael, hitting .191. Stewart plays in on the grass, and the strike one pitch in the dirt, short hop by Alfonzo, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Rockies left 2 in the second inning at second and third. Dodgers left 2 in the first inning at first and second, and that's it. 1-1 pitch to Rafael Furcal is low. Rafael singles sharply to right in the first inning. Cook normally gets ground balls. In fact, we're in the third inning with 2 out, and he's had a bunch of ground balls. Furcal hits one right up the middle, a ground ball for a base hit. Seven of the required 9 outs in 3 innings have been hit on the ground. And now the base hit on the ground. And here's Ethier, who really stung one in the first inning and hit it right at third baseman Ian Stewart. Ethier hitting .296. He's 9 for 22 with 2 home runs against Cook. Andre with 10 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Furcal draws a throw and gets back. Rafael has stolen 5 out of 7. We're in the third. No runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for the Rockies. Cook turns, looks over at first. Ethier waits at the plate, and Andre promptly bangs one off the protective railing in front of the Rockies dugout. No balls and 1 strike. Mark Ellis clears it off. Andre Ethier, the overall batting average, .296. What has kept his average down? The fact that he's hitting in the 230s against left-hand pitching. But just against right-handers, he's hitting .324. And a throw to first in the dirt gets by Wigginton. Furcal goes to second and beats the throw from backup Mark Ellis. So Aaron Cook with 2 out, trying to pick off Rafael Furcal, and throws it away. It'll be an error charge to Cook, and we'll see now if the Dodgers can cash him in or not. Ellis played the carom, but his throw was late. Rafael going in with a belly whopper. So Aaron Cook now, the Dodgers with a runner at second with 2 out and a tough hitter at the plate, Andre Ethier. Cook set, Aaron delivers, big bouncer, backhanded by Wigginton, overhands to Cook coming over, and he's out of the jam. No runs, 1 hit, a man left in scoring position for the Dodgers, and at the end of 3, no score.
Team Store. Tonight's winning combination is 74-30-11. Enter now on KCAL9.com/clubhouse combo. Brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
Fourth inning, no score in the ball game. Troy Tulowitzki, Seth Smith, and Ty Wigginton coming up. A fighter with only one punch. He needs that hook and then the cross. For Colorado, they've got Tulowitzki, but they miss Carlos Gonzalez. They were a grade 1-2 punch. Gonzalez went out with 15 home runs and 56 runs batted in. So they're missing a power plant here, and Tulo's trying to do it pretty much on his own, and the pitch is low. He has gotten help from Todd Helton, who hits in front of him. Helton has 11 home runs, 54. But they need that missing piece, and that's Gonzalez. The 1-0 pitch on the way. 2-0. Tulowitzki, a remarkable young player, got a remarkable contract when you realize he had only played 500 games. I mean, that's not really much, 3.5 years. And they gave him a 10-year deal for $157 million. That's a strike. 2-1. Troy Tulowitzki is still only 26. He won't be 27 till the middle of October, and he's worth every penny. Remarkable. Only spent 14 months in the minor leagues. That's a strike. 2-2. Tulo stands 6'3", weighs in at 210. Out of Long Beach State. Two pitch. And see you later. So Tulowitzki, who struck out in the first inning, strikes out again here in the fourth. Boy, he has done a number on the Dodgers in the past, but that number has been 0, certainly in this series. So Tulowitzki comes up empty, and we have one out in the fourth inning. That would be the fourth strikeout for Kuroda. Hiroki now will be working on Seth Smith, who's singled to right field in his first at bat. Way inside, almost got him. Ball 1. For Kuroda, his high in strikeouts, he has one game 8. He's had a whole bunch of games with 7. 1 ball and no strikes. Fastball missed. 2-0. Most strikeouts for Hiroki 3 years ago when he struck out 11 Cubs. Seth is the extra base hitter, hitting .289. And a strike. Former quarterback at Ole Miss, behind Eli Manning, though he shares an experience with Todd Helton, who quarterbacked behind Peyton Manning. And he hits it to the gap. That's going to drop for a base hit and go to the wall. So it's going to be another extra base hit. His 26th double. I mean, that's pretty remarkable, isn't it? 26 doubles, 7 triples, and 8 home runs. So he got a pitch out over the plate, and he knew what to do with it. A 1-out double. And the batter will be Ty Wigginton. So Smith is 2 for 2. Those are the only 2 hits the Rockies have. Remember, we told you the Rockies 3 for 27, hitting .111 with runners in scoring position. Here's another one. Ball 1. Wigginton drew a walk in the second inning. No runs, 2 hits for the Rockies. No runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Wigginton played left field last night, first base tonight for Todd Helton. 1-0. Off the plate. Jason Jamby suffering a leg injury running down the first base line in the first game, so Jason's had to go on the DL. They've called up Chris Nelson, who has got great wheels. Nelson last year stole home against the Reds. And ball 3. They went 3-0 with Wigginton in the second inning, got a strike, and then walked him on a 3-1 pitch. Waiting on deck, the left-hand hitting Ian Stewart. 3-0. Down the pipe. 3-1. One away, fourth inning, no score. Seth Smith at second base for Colorado. Rockies are 500 at home, 8 games under 500 on the road. 3-1 as Smith takes his lead at second. 3-2. Ty deep in thought, Kuroda going all the way with him. Hiroki has made 63 pitches, 14 so far here in the fourth inning. Three and two. Foul back. Wigginton was born in San Diego. I mean, when you hear the name Ty, you think of Ty Cobb, and then you think of Georgia. But Wigginton, born in San Diego, lives in North Carolina, went to college there. Time. Three and two. And ball 4, he walks him a second time. Do you ever read anything about Ty Cobb? They tell a story about Cobb which really sums him up. Way back when he first started to play, he had a roommate. And Cobb always got back to the room. He didn't shower in the ballpark. He always got back to the room and took a bath. And one day, Ty Cobb came back to the room, and his roommate was in the bathtub. And Cobb went ballistic and hauled him out of the bathtub. And the guy said, "What, are you crazy?" And Cobb said, "Don't you understand? I have to be first." Ty Cobb. Well, here's Ian Stewart, first and second, one out, fourth inning, no score. Mark Ellis on deck. Ian batting .141. And ball 1. So Stewart going through all the pains instead of the glory right now of playing in the big leagues. I would think that really plays tricks with your head. He's had 25 home runs, 18 home runs in the big leagues. He has 0 so far. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-1. Stewart is 6'3", 205 pounds. Born in Long Beach. Went to La Quinta High. He committed to go to USC, but then he passed it up to turn pro. One and one. And that's going to go high and down the line. Gwynn racing across and one-hands it. And the runners have to get back. That ball kept carrying, and Gwynn was running out of real estate. And a fine play by Tony. That thing probably would have gone in the stands. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. If nothing else, it would have hit the top of the wall. So Tony Gwynn makes a big play. Still no score in the fourth inning. And the batter will be Mark Ellis. Mark Ellis grounded to short in the second inning. Fastball for ball one. 1-0. Ellis grounded to short. That moved runners to second and third. But the Rockies left them. Now they're trying not to leave Seth Smith or Ty Wigginton, but especially Smith. When Stewart's fly ball was caught, that makes the Rockies 3 for 28 with runners in scoring position. Off the plate. The Rockies at home in Denver shut out only once, 4 times on the road, so they usually score a bunch of runs. 2 balls and no strikes. Fastball in there. 2-1 to Mark, hitting .295. Hiroki Kuroda trying to win his 7th. The note we gave you at the start. Since a victory on the 17th of May, Hiroki is 1-9 with 1 no decision. 2-1. And that's popped in the air, foul. Barajas looking at Loney, and Loney looks at the ball. So that's 2 more at bats with a runner in scoring position. They're 3 for 29, and we're scoreless. Proud sponsors of the Los Angeles Dodgers. 76, we're on the driver's side. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Bottom of the fourth inning, no score in the ball game. The Dodgers will have Matt Kemp, Aaron Miles, and James Loney. By the way, Hiroki Kuroda in the fourth inning made 23 pitches. And you know the number one commandment for a pitcher, get that first pitch for a strike and get the leadoff hitter. Well, he's done pretty well. He's gotten 3 of the 4 leadoff hitters. But in the fourth inning, he was behind all 5 batters, 1 ball and no strikes, and escaped. So here's Kemp. Ball 1. Matt single left in the first inning. 8 ground balls from the Dodger bats with Aaron Cook up there. That 71-mile-an-hour balloon, and Matt almost hurt himself. He swung so hard. Float, swing, miss. 1-1. 1-2. Cook, last few years, when he's healthy, you have to figure he's going to get about 75% of the outs on ground balls. Right now, he's doing a lot better than that. 1-2. 2-2. So Kemp, Miles, Loney, bottom of the fourth. No score in the ball game. And chasing a fastball down. So Kemp comes up empty. Down he goes. One away for Cook, his first strikeout. Our text question tonight: which team in contention is the biggest surprise this season? Would it be the Pittsburgh Pirates, who began the day just one game back of the Cardinals? Would it be the Cleveland Indians? They're just 2 games back of Detroit. Or Arizona started the day 3 back of the Giants. Text your answer 86212. And there's that circle change for a strike. The other one was 71. That one was 73. Miles grounded out in the first inning. Missed with that off-speed pitch. So he's got the change working. 1-1 the count. We're in the bottom of the fourth. No score. Two and one the count. Aaron with that good sinker of his, producing all those ground balls. 2-1 the count. Ground ball to short. There's Tulowitzki. And yet another ground ball. So Aaron Cook, when he's on his game, is one of the really fine worm killers in the National League. Last year, he had a lot of trouble against left-hand batters. Left-handers last year hit .337 against Cook. That sinker was right in a left-hander's wheelbase. They like him down. 1 ball and no strikes. Loney grounded out in the second inning to tie Wigginton. Two out, bases empty, fourth inning, no score. One of Kuroda's problems, the inability of the Dodgers to score any runs for him. And he's in another one of those games. No score in the fourth. Hiroki, very patient, a veteran, doing very well tonight, holding the Rockies to 2 hits and no runs. 2-0 to Loney on the outside corner. 2-1. Foul ball. 2-2. So Aaron Cook, as the modern day player now says, pitching to contact. His high in strikeouts this year, 5. So he's not that kind of a pitcher to just blow down all the hitters. 2-2. Fouled away. Last year, to show you what kind of a ground ball pitcher Aaron Cook is, last year they tallied it all up. He had 265 ground balls and in the entire year, 92 fly balls, which is pretty good in the rarefied air of Denver, that's for sure. 2-2. Cook has made 198 starts as a Rocky. He's also now been in 229 big league games. So two veteran pitchers out there tonight, locked in, no score, in contrast to the two youngsters, Ulysses Chacin and Clayton Kershaw, and before that, Nicasio and De La Rosa. 3-2. Change. Hit to center. Base hit. Maloney singles to center with 2 out in the 4th inning. That for the Dodgers would be their 3rd hit. And the batter, Rod Barajas. For COL, has 2 singles, so that would be the 4th hit. Kemp has a single. Loney now. And here's Barajas, who fouled out. Nice play by Ty Wigginton in the 2nd inning. Fastball, 1-0 the count. Rod batting .209, 8 home runs, 21 runs batted in. Diona Navarro caught last night's game, and Diona also caught game 1. 1 ball and no strikes. In the dirt. Cook in 48 innings has allowed just 2 home runs. Shows the sinker has been working, and especially only 2 allowed, and you pitch half the time in Denver. Two balls, no strikes. Low again. Now Barajas is hitting only .209. He is definitely a fly ball hitter against a sinker ball pitcher. You have Jamie Carroll on deck. So it could be that Mattingly will roll the dice and let Rod swing 3-0 if he gets a pitch he really likes, a pitch he can drive. Didn't like that. Sinker at the knees. 3-1. So from the skipper to Tim Wallach to the hitter. Loney at first with 2 outs, so Dodgers do not have speed as a weapon, but in case it's a run and hit play, they're going to keep an eye on Loney. James is 3 for 3 in stolen bases. After him again and almost threw it away. Remember, in the 3rd inning, Aaron Cook tried to pick off for COL and did throw it away. Three and 1. And there goes Loney, and it's ball 4. So with 2 out, Loney single to center, Barajas walks, and the batter will be Jamie Carroll.
That's second baseman, number 14, Jamie Carroll.
That's the first walk given up by Aaron Cook. Jamie Carroll grounded to short in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. Cook's work this year, he's been fighting his control. He has walked 20, and he has struck out 16. And the other thing, he has allowed more hits than innings pitched. So put it all together, struggling with his control, more hits than innings pitched, and you can understand why he's 1 and 5. So here is Carroll hitting No runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits for the Rockies. And he swung at the first pitch. There's Ellis to feed his shortstop, and they get out of the mess. Jamey Carroll surprising everybody. And maybe the book is such that they decided to throw it right down the middle. And this time he hits into a force. And at the end of 4, no score. The official sporting goods retailer of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and by Universal Studios Hollywood, the entertainment capital of LA. 5th inning, no score in the ballgame. By the way, we were talking about the shock, the surprise. Jamey Carroll swinging at the first pitch and almost getting a base hit up the middle. Good play by Ellis to turn it into a fourth. For Jamey, that is the 6th time this year that he has hit the first pitch and put it in play, and he's 2 for 6 during those rather unusual at-bats for him. In the 5th inning, ELIEZER, ALFONZO, Aaron Cook, and then Eric Young against Hiroki Kuroda. Kuroda gave up 2 hits to Seth Smith, the right fielder, and then he was saved on that long fly ball to left field on the nice catch by Tony Gwynn. So in the 5th, here's ALFONZO, the big catcher. Oh, and 1. On the hands, little ground ball. Miles is on it. 1 away. So that'll bring up Aaron Cook.
Pitcher, number 28, Aaron Cook.
Cook hit a soft line drive right at Jamey Carroll, leading off the 3rd inning, so Aaron is 0 for 1. No runs, 2 hits for the Rockies. No runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers, and we're in the 5th inning. Final game of the 3-game series. Dodgers trying to sweep the Rockies here at Dodger Stadium for the first time since April of 2009. Ground ball to Furcal. And quickly 2 out. Just to give you what's on the horizon for the Dodgers, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with the D-backs. Friday and Sunday on Prime Ticket. Saturday night on KCAL 9. Dodgers then will go to San Diego for 3, Arizona for 3, and then come home and have their hands full with the Philadelphia Phillies. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to check the schedule and get your tickets. Philadelphia and Houston, the upcoming homestand. Here's EY. Bunts. Good bunt and peels off foul. 0-1 to Eric Young. Young has struck out twice. 0 for 2. No runs, 2 hits for the Rockies. Seth Smith has both of them. No runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Rafael Furcal has 2 of the 4. Oh and 1. Young was having a big year at Colorado Springs. He hit .363 down there. He had 17 stolen bases. I mean, he was tearing things up. So they brought him up, but he's struggling, hitting .226. 1-1. Fouled away. When you talk to players who have been in the minor leagues and then they come up to the big leagues, most of them say the same thing. Even in AAA, you'll see 1, maybe 2 very good pitchers a week. You come to the big leagues and you see a very good pitcher every single time. That seems to be the big difference, the dividing line. Why fellas put up such big numbers in AAA, and then they come up and battle against Clayton Kershaw. 2-2. Now Rod Barajas needs an equipment change. Different mitt. All right, Rod with that new one. He got it from Leona Navarro. I think he has his name on that. And that's going to be stroked into center for a base hit. So with 2 out, a rabbit loose here for the Rockies.
Center fielder, number 24.
And the batter will be Dexter Fowler. That's only the 3rd hit for the Rockies, and it comes with 2 out in the 5th inning. Eric Young has not been here long enough, but he's still 4 for 4 in stolen bases. Fowler has popped it up and flied to center. Ball he hit to center was hit hard in the 3rd inning. It took off on Kemp, and he was able to reach up and grab it. So you have 2 sons of former big leaguers out there. EY at first and Tony Gwynn out in left field. 2 chips off the old block. And that's whacked into center. Boy, that's hit hard. Ooh. So first and second with 2 out. Well, here he comes again. It's like testing. How many times can you get away with it? And again, here comes Tulowitzki. Tulo, 19 home runs, 67 runs batted in. He was hitting only .182 against Kuroda, and he has struck out twice. And Tracy's wondering, will I ever get a hit with runners in scoring position? 2 on, 2 out, no score in the 5th. Ball 1. Didn't take Tulowitzki long to really do a lot of things in the big leagues. 2 years ago, he hit for the cycle. Last year in September, as we used to say, he was unconscious. He had 14 home runs in a 15-game span. way out in front, 1-1. Talking about that September last year with Tulowitzki. He wound up with 15 home runs and 40 runs batted in the month of September. The only other player who ever had a September like that, Babe Ruth for the 1927 Yankees. That was the year Babe hit 60. Big bouncer up the middle by the diving Carroll, through into center. Young will score. Fowler to third. Tulo down to second, and he's safe. Though Troy Tulowitzki, so many times they have tried him, and each time he was found wanting, but not this time. Got a pitch about knee high and bangs it up the middle. So with 2 out, 3 consecutive hits, and a nice bit of running by Tulo to take the extra base, just ahead of the tag. Tag was on the knee, the foot was on the bag. 1-0 Colorado. Now Seth Smith, first base open. Smitty is 2 for 2, and they're going to take the bat right out of his hand. So in a moment, the bases will be loaded. Sometimes, I guess, if you're a manager, you would prefer not to have an adventurous base runner. In other words, if Tulowitzki stopped at first, Corota would have to contend with Smith. But Tulo heads up, takes the extra base on the throw, so that gives the Dodgers a chance to trade Seth Smith for Ty Wigginton. Smith is 2 for 2, hitting .292. He has a single and a double. Wigginton is hitting .254. The one difference, besides left and right, Smith has 8 home runs and Wigginton has 13. Ty walked on a 3-1 pitch in the second inning and walked on a 3-2 pitch in the fourth. Bases loaded, 2 out, 1-0 Rockies, and a strike. 1 grand slam for Ty Wigginton. That happened 3 years ago. He hit a slam against Atlanta. He was playing for Houston at the time. 0-1. Strike. 0-2. Interesting, too, with Tulowitzki coming through with that big base hit. This year, with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, he's hitting .364. So even when he's struggling in a series, he can still beat you. 0-2 to Wigginton. Fowler, Tulo, and Smith out there. And down goes Wigginton. So strikes out with the bases loaded, but not before the Rockies get a run thanks to the single by Troy Tulowitzki. And at the end of 4 1/2, Rockies 1, Dodgers 0. Is brought to you by Time Warner Cable and by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. 1-0 in favor of the Rockies. Bottom of the 5th inning. Hiroki Kuroda will lead it off. He made 19 pitches and he has now made 91. Hiroki grounded out in the 3rd inning. Though we have 0 for 1 as he checks in. Bunts foul. 0-1 the count. The big story that's percolating right now, it's still not official, but it has been reported that Carlos Beltran left Cincinnati, packed up his gear, and is flying to Philadelphia to join the San Francisco Giants. 0-2. The Giants say, while we've been engaged in discussions, we're not in position to comment, but there's a lot of comments going on as Hiroki strikes out. 1 away in the 5th inning. The deal supposedly, and again we have to use those terms, the deal supposedly would send pitcher Zach Wheeler, who really is maybe the #1 pitching prospect that the Giants have, and the Mets would pick up $4 million of the $6.5 million that Beltran has left on his contract. But remember, Beltran would waive his no trade to make the trade happen because he had that in his deal. So when it means that he would waive it, it probably means he got a lot of money to do it. That's what usually happens. And Al Boshi says, I'd love to comment on it, but it's not finalized. So that's what's going on right now. That could be the big deal. 1-1. We wondered the last time we were in San Francisco back in July, they were talking about, I don't mean the officials, but people up there in the know were saying the Giants either wanted Carlos Beltran or Hunter Spence of Houston. And there are some who thought they should go with Spence. He's younger and healthier. Beltran's 34 and he's had knee problems, but he's healthy right now. That's going to go foul. One of the big reasons why the Giants determined to come back and win again, and why would they give up probably their #1 minor league pitcher? Well, in trying to win, the Giants, believe it or not, in first place, are 28th in the major leagues in runs scored. That's 28 out of 30 teams. Ground ball to Wigginton. He hangs it to Cook. And just like that, we have 2 down, and it's another ground ball against Aaron Cook. So be sure to join the Dodgers Sunday at 1:10. Dodgers and the D-backs. Fans will take home their very own Dodger sports bag. Compliments of United Airlines. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Well, one thing, they can comment in guarded tones all they want, but if Beltran did leave the ballpark, pack up his gear, and take off, the chances are, if he's buying a ticket to Philadelphia, that the deal's been done. But they just don't want to say it yet. 1-0 Rockies. 2 out, 5th inning. Ball 1. For call, 2 singles. Ten ground balls against Cook in 5 innings. Technically 4 2/3. 2 balls and no strikes. Two and 1. 1 run, 5 hits for the Rockies. No runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Dodgers have gotten 3 men to second base, and the difference, Tulowitzki single up the middle that cashed in Eric Young. Ball 3. On deck, Andre Ethier. So Cook having a lot of trouble with for call. And he walked him. coming into the game for CARROll, was hitting .235 against Cook. So he's had 2 singles and a walk. And now the batter who normally hurts him, Andre Ethier, coming up. Ethier is 0 for 2. He has hit 2 balls hard. He hit a rocket at Ian Stewart, the third baseman, in the first inning, and hit a hard ground ball to Wigginton in the third. So this is not what Cook wanted, losing for CARROll and facing Ethier. And there goes for CARROll. The pitch high. Good throw. Got him. Oh, yeah. What a quick release and a perfect throw by ELIEZER Alfonzo. And at the end of 5, 1-0 Rockies. In 2008, it was a big day for all of us in the Dodger organization and a well-deserved award. Finally, they got around to honoring a man who should have been honored years and years ago. On this day, Walter Francis O'Malley was elected into the Hall of Fame, God bless him, and he really deserved it. Just imagine how he changed the face of baseball and how glad we are to be here in Los Angeles. And with that, let's go back to this one. The Rockies leading 1-0, trying to pick up where they left off. Ian Stewart popped out to shallow center and then hit a long fly ball to left that was caught by Tony Gwynn. Otherwise, it might have gone into the seats for a home run. When Stewart arrived here, I think anyone following baseball was shocked. He had 1 run batted in. He picked up 1 run on a ground ball, but he came close last at bat. Pulled foul into the chairs, 2-1. Ian Stewart. Don't care what he's hitting. Don't really care the fact he doesn't have a home run. He is a threat every time he checks in. Two balls and 1 strike. Off speed for a strike. 2-2. Little ground ball, foul. Stewart was sent down and was recalled back up in the 5th of July. But he's only hit .220. He was optioned to AAA early in April, again the middle of May, so he's been up and down. 2-2. You know, in 2009 and 2010, he had 43 home runs. I mean, he is no walk in the park, and yet hitting just 140. 2-2 to Ian. Fouled away. Hiroki Kuroda working his way up slowly to 100 pitches. And popped in the air, shallow left center for call, and howling off it is Tony Gwynn. Good play by the young left fielder. Normally, you know, you have a tendency to give to the veteran, but that would have been a tough play for call, so Tony rode to the rescue. One away. Mark Ellis coming up. Well, here's a look. Remember we asked which team in contention, the biggest surprise, Pirates, Indians, or Diamondbacks? Wow, 83% in the early return say the Pirates. 9% the D-backs, 8% the Indians. Don't forget, 86212 on your cell. 1 ball and no strikes. And by the way, in talking about the Pirates being a surprise, that's a strike. You know right now who's absolutely the biggest contributor to his team's success? Without a doubt, the most valuable player. I'll bet his name is never mentioned. Who do you think? That's a fly ball to right. Ethier's there. 2 down. The fella who is right now the most valuable, makes the greatest contribution in every conceivable department for a team's success, is Andrew McCutchen of the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'll bet you never thought of that. Neither did I. 2 down. Here's Alfonzo, lined out to center, grounded to third, 0 for 2. When the Dodgers come up, Ethier, Kemp, and Miles in the bottom of the 6th. Typical of Kuroda, who rarely gets many runs to lean on anyway. And here he is being shut out. 1-0. You know, you realize Kuroda coming into this game, over his last 9 starts, has an earned run average of 2.7, and he gets 2.6 runs of support. So 1 and 7 in there. In his 12 losses this year, Kuroda has gotten the monumental total of 19 runs. 2-1. 2-2. Good fastball down. Alfonzo, who made that great throw to nail for call. Kuroda up over 106 pitches now. Diamondbacks are leading the Padres 4-2 in the 7th inning. A shot up the middle. So Alfonzo is 1 for 3, and that'll bring up Aaron Cook. One run, 6 hits for the Rockies. The big thing with Kuroda now, I'm sure, Mattingly talking to Honeycutt, Hiroki has made 107 pitches. His last game, he made 116. Blake Hawksworth loosening up back of him now in the Dodger bullpen. That 116, second high way back when he was very fresh and strong. Second time out on the 9th of April, he made 117. But now, after all these games, and the very fact that he's 36, Dodgers counting his pitches. 1-1. One ball and one strike. Aaron Cook. Alfonzo at first with 2 out. Cook bunts in the air. Late start. Diving try and off Barajas' glove. Great effort by Rod. So hard to pick it off. It wasn't high. And he came so close. There it is. Where is it? There. Go get it. All right. And tried to squeeze that mitt. Couldn't hold on to it. Tremendous effort by Rod Barajas. Rod back to work. 1-2. Cook swings the bat pretty well. Off the plate, 2-2. By the way, D-backs lead the Padres 4-2 in the 7th. Justin Upton, the brilliant young right fielder, has hit 2 home runs. He now has 20. Xavier Nady hit a 3rd home run, the ex-Padre. And Ian Kennedy leads 4-2, 7th inning. And got him. So Cook caught looking. Down he goes. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. And at the end of 5.5 innings, Rockies 1, Dodgers nothing. Brought to you by Carl's Jr. $6 Burgers, made with 100% Black Angus beef. By the Jeep brand, we don't just make SUVs, we make history. And by the Smurfs in 3D in theaters Friday. Bottom of the 6th inning, 1-0 Rockies. Hiroki Kuroda has made 112 pitches. He might be finished for the night. Blake Hawksworth is still throwing in the bullpen. The biggest problem for Hiroki, number 1, the Dodgers haven't scored for him. Number 2, he's faced 27 batters, and 16 he was immediately behind, 1 ball and no strikes. But otherwise, he pitched at dandy, but as usual, non-support. And I would guess he's done, although that might be premature. But Hawksworth is throwing up in the pen. Down on the mound, they're working to get it to the likings of Aaron Cook. Realizing the pitchers push off the rubber, there's a little trench in front of it. So Cook with his right foot, and he'll push off the rubber. Hiroki Kuroda pushes off the rubber, and apparently when Cook went back out there, he felt that the rubber had come loose. So they came out and pounded it into the ground. You need a little trench so you can put your foot in that trench and push off. All right, we're ready. It'll be Ethier, Kemp, and Miles in that order. 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error for the Rockies. No runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. The last out in the 5th inning took the bat out of Ethier's hands. That's when CARROLL was throwing out, trying to steal. So Ethier 0 for 2, but he hits Cook pretty hard. Left-hand hitter and a sinker ball pitcher. It's indeed strength against strength. Right, 0-1. Dodgers this year have been shut out at home 6 times and shut out 4 times on the road. So they've been shut out 10 times this year. Because I remember the 1966 Dodgers, they set a record. I remember they were shut out 17 times that year and wound up in the World Series anyway. No pennant winner had been shut out that many times. 1-2 the count. Cook is 1-5. He is 6-7 lifetime against the Dodgers. 1-2. 90-mile-an-hour fastball on the eyes. 2-2. Ground ball hard. Tulo recovers. One away on the ground ball to short, and Matt Kemp coming up.
Center fielder number 27, Matt Kemp.
Matt Kemp single to left and struck out. Matt 1 for 2. So Cook has gone 5 1/3. Last time out he went 5. Time before that 6 1/3. Strike. Back to the 18th of July he went 7 in Cincinnati. The end of June he went 8 against the Angels. 1-1. Rockies lead 1-0 with 2 out in the 5th inning. Eric Young singled to center. Dexter Fowler singled him to second base, and Tulowitzki singled him home. And that's it. Ball 2. You wonder whether Cook is thinking strikes with Matt Kemp. Not to take anything away from Aaron Miles on deck, but Miles has 1 home run. 2-2. So he's going after him. 1-0 Rockies. And just did get a little of that. That was 90 miles down. Typical story. Good hitters somehow manage to fight off very good pitches that strike out a lot of others. Jamey, Carroll, Andre Ethier watching Matt. 2-2. Off speed, lifted to right. It's playable. Seth Smith gets the second out. Say you're going to hit the road, you can take the Dodgers with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv today. See every Dodger game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Dodgers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. So be it. So here's Aaron Miles. Grounded to second, grounded to short. And a hopper off the glove of Mark Ellis into shallow center. Ball was hit hard, but Ellis did manage to get his glove on it, so we'll see how they rule it. It'll be a base hit. So James Loney coming up as Miles goes 1 for 3. Dodgers no runs, 5 hits. $11 ground ball outs so far. So Cook has had his sinker working very well. But again, as we mentioned, this is strength against strength. Loney likes the ball down, and Cook's specialty would be the sinker. And there's a comebacker, and that'll be that. By the way, that fly ball that was hit by Matt Kemp, that was the first fly ball for an outfielder to catch against Cook, and it's still 1-0 Rockies. Nothing lead. They had 3 singles with 2 out in the 5th inning. Once again, the Dodger hitters disappoint Hiroki Kuroda. Kuroda turned in a tremendous effort, made 112 pitches, allowed 1 run and 6 hits. However, he has been outpitched a little bit by Aaron Cook, who has 12 ground balls and only 1 fly ball to the outfield. Cook made 87 pitches in 6 innings. And Kuroda gives way to Blake Hawksworth out of North Vancouver, British Columbia. Hawksworth has done a very fine job, an ERA of 2.7. His strikeout to walk ratio is 3-1. He'll be pitching to Eric Young, Dexter Fowler, and then Troy Tulowitzki. That was the trio that connected for the only run in the game with 2 out in the 5th inning. EY singled straight up the middle. Dodgers defend against a bunt. Ball 1. Young batting .241. Loney and Miles are up. One ball and no strikes. That's in there. Young's numbers say he's a much better hitter right-handed. Came into this game hitting .320 right, 154 left. Ball 2. 2-1. Naturally, the Rockies would like to get him aboard. He's 4 for 4 in stolen bases. 2-1. Fouled away. Oh, it was there and you dropped it. No, I dropped it. Hope you'll be with us on the weekend. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon with Arizona. EY just did hold up. 3-2 the count. Big pitch now. And a roller for call. Nice big hop. One away. So one down. Dexter Fowler coming up. Fowler has popped up, flied to center, and singled to center. He has stolen 5, but he's been caught 7. Back. And looking at Hawksworth and his battles against the Rockies, Tulowitzki on deck, 2 for 6 with a home run. Hilton has a home run against him, and he's not starting. 0-1. 1-1. Fowler 0 for 3 against Hawksworth in the past. For the Hawk, this is his first appearance in the series. 1-1. Fastball. In game 1, the Dodgers started De La Rosa and relieved with Guerrier, Jansen, Quo, McDougald, and Guerra. Then last night, Kershaw was backed up by Guerrier and Jansen. And today, Hawksworth backing up Kuroda. Talking about Kenley Jansen, and he may very well be watching the game on television. And we're glad to hear good news about him, and he should be back shortly. 2-2. What happened was last night, Kenley Jansen went to the hospital with an irregular heartbeat. The word now is it's back to a normal rhythm and everything is absolutely normal, but they just wanted to give him one more day of rest. And down goes Fowler. 2 out in the 7th, and the batter is Troy Tulowitzki. A lot of late action on that pitch. So Hawksworth takes care of 2. Now he's got Tulo. Hawk doesn't figure to be around. He's due to bat 3rd when the Dodgers hit in the bottom of the 7th. Tulowitzki in facing Hawksworth. 2 for 6 with a home run and 2 runs batted in. Off speed, dips in nicely. 0-1 the count. Hawksworth, good late moving fastball. We just saw one. He has a curveball, also a slider occasionally, and a change. Little breaking ball, 0-2. Tulowitzki with 19 home runs, 68 runs batted in. Seth Smith, who has a single, a double, and an intentional walk, is on deck. 0-2 to Tulo. Ball one. Tulowitzki, considering his power and the fact that he plays every day, he has struck out 44 times and he has walked 40. Todd Helton has had a remarkable career doing just that, walking about as many times as he has struck out. 1-2. 2-2. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the seventh, Barajas, Carroll, and Hawksworth spot. 2-2 with 2 out to number 2, Troy Tulowitzki. And whacked to right down the line, and that's going to run to the wall. Ethier plays the carom perfectly, but by that time Tulowitzki is into second base with a double. For Tulowitzki, that would be his 26th double, and he has 2 triples and 19 home runs. So now here comes Seth Smith, who seems like he invented the extra base hit this year. Smitty has 26 doubles, 7 triples, and 8 home runs as he tries to pick up Tulowitzki. But let's see if they're going to pitch to him with Wigginton on deck. And they will put him on. So for the second time, they'll walk Smith intentionally and try to get out of it against Wigginton. They struck him out with 2 on, actually with the bases loaded in the 5th inning. So in a moment, Rockies will have runners at first and second, 2 out, and Ty Wigginton coming up. Here's ball 3, 1 to follow. All right. For the second time, they walk Smith intentionally and try and get out of it with Wigginton. Wigginton walked in the first 2 at bats, then struck out with the bases loaded in the 5th. Ty hitting .253, 13 home runs, 40 runs batted in. And against Hawksworth, he's just 0 for 1. Two out in the 7th, 1-0 Rockies. And in the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. Hawksworth in 33 innings has allowed 4 home runs. One ball and no strikes. Off the plate. So after Young grounded to short and Fowler struck out, Tulowitzki doubles to right. They walk Smith. Here's Wigginton as the Rockies try to add to a 1-0 lead. Two and 1. Wigginton has struck out almost 3 to 1. Strikeouts to walks. And line down the left field line in the corner for a base hit. Tulowitzki will score. They will stop Smith at third on the line drive double by Ty Wigginton, and that makes it 2-0 in favor of the Rockies. And Ian Stewart will be coming up, and that ball was ripped. So Wigginton a double to left, the second double in the inning, and the third double for the Rockies tonight. So the Rockies scored a run with 2 out in the 5th inning, and they come right back and score with 2 out and the bases empty in the 7th. They will pitch to the left-hand hitting Stewart with the right-hander Mark Ellis on deck. Foul ball, 0-1. Ian Stewart flied to center, just a little pop fly really. But then in the 4th inning, hit a long fly ball down the left field line. Tony Gwynn raced over and caught it. It might have gone in the seats if Gwynn had not gotten there. And then last time up, he flied to left. 0-1. Stewart hitting 139. 0-2. So over at third is Seth Smith. Ty Wigginton just knocked in a run with his double. And Hawksworth now down 2-0. And an 0-2 count to Ian Stewart. Ball 1. Mark Ellis, who is 0 for 3 on deck. But interesting, with first base open, they would rather go against the left-hand hitter Stewart than the right-hand batter Ellis. 1-2. Two and 2. So the deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Rockies lead 2-0. And they have 2 runners on at second and third. And the run brought home by number 2, Troy Tulowitzki. Two and 2 to Ian Stewart. And a fly ball to left field. Gwynn is at the other end of it. That'll do it. But a run on a couple of doubles. 2 men left. And at the end of 6.5 innings, 2-0 in favor of the Rockies. And the crowd will now be asked to join in singing God Bless America and Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Ladies, please rise and join in the singing of God Bless America, accompanied by Nancy B. and performed tonight by Joel James.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Now, fans, it's time for the 7th inning stretch.
is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers and by Carl's Jr. $6 burgers made with 100% Black Angus beef. Rockies increase their lead to 2-0. 2 runs, 8 hits for the Rocks. No runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. And when Stewart flied out, that left runners at second and third. So the Rockies have not been very productive, but Aaron Cook has been cooking. In the 7th inning, it'll be Barajas, Carroll, and a hitter for Hawksworth, who made 29 pitches. Ball 1 to Rod. Fouled out and walked. 0 for 1. For Cook, first time he's gone 7, and a towering fly ball, and going back for it is Fowler on the track. The Barajas just misses, and 1 away. Well, here are the final numbers. Remember the question, which team in contention is the biggest surprise this season, the Pirates, the Indians, or the Diamondbacks? 81% of you, a landslide, said the Pirates, who have lost 2 brutal games against Atlanta. They won the first game of a 4-game series, and the Pirates and the Braves play tomorrow. Jamie Carroll with Eugenio Velez coming out on deck, and ball 1 to Carroll. Jamie grounded to short in the 2nd inning, and then for only the 6th time this year put the first pitch in play in the 4th inning, hit it up the middle, and Ellis made a good play to turn it into a force play. Jamie hitting .289, and he has the count his way, 2-0. In there. Cook walked for call in the 5th inning. And then he walked Barajas in the 4th. There's a hopper into right field. Wigginton could not move over as he dropped to one knee. So with 1 out, Carroll takes a sinker to right field, and Velez will be coming up. For the Dodgers, their 6th hit.
Attention, please, for the Dodgers. Hitting for Hawksworth, number 3, Eugenio Velez.
Eugenio Velez looking for his first hit. He is 0 for 10. He is 0 for 3 coming off the bench. Velez from the Dominican, originally drafted by the Blue Jays, wound up with the Giants, and he was up and down from 04 through last year in the Giant organization. Runs very well. Carroll at first, 1 out in the 7th. And ball 1. Aaron Cook, in his last game, made 87 pitches. He's now at 94. And a big bounce of the Wigginton. They get the front man. The throw to Cook, not in time. So Velez hitting left-handed too fast as far as a double play, but that was a nice play by Wigginton on the high bouncer, and he's able to get the front man reaching up, throws it right over Carroll's head. Tulo's throw is just a hair late to Cook. 3-6, 2 out. Velez at first, and the batter will be Tony Gwynn. Velez does have a stolen base. He's 1 for 1. But it is 2-0 Rockies with 2 out in the 7th. Gwynn hit back to the box, grounded to first twice 3 ground balls, 0 for 3. That ground ball by Velez, the 13th ground ball tonight against Aaron Cook. So his sinker is really working. 1 ball and no strikes to Tony, hitting .256. One and 0. Cook's high in pitches back in June, 94. And there goes Velez. Fly ball to left field. Moving over, however, to pick it off is Eric Young. So Gwynn, a fly ball, no runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of 7, 2-0 Colorado. Because the Dodgers couldn't do anything with him. Started the game off striking Young and Tulowitzki. Moved right along. Nailed Young again. Got Tulowitzki again. Went after Wigginton. And by the time he was finished, he had a half a dozen strikeouts. But he went out losing 1-0. And then Hawksworth came in, made 29 pitches and gave up a run. So it is 2-0 Colorado. And 2 4-game streaks are on the line. Rockies have lost 4 in a row, and the Dodgers have won 4 in a row. In case you care, we were talking earlier about the Dodgers in their championship year of 1966. That team set a record. It went to the World Series against Baltimore, but it was shut out 17 times. Larry Jaster, a big left-hander with the Cardinals, just drove the Dodgers crazy that year. Struck out and shut out 5 times and only won 11 games for the entire year, but he nailed the Dodgers 5. Here's Mark Ellis. Grounded to short, fouled out, fly to right. 0-1. Wide of third, off the glove of Miles, deflected to Furcal, but no play. So Aaron Miles unable to handle that high bouncer. He will probably draw an error right there. Furcal trying to back out, but had no chance to make a play. So it'll be an error charge, that figured. Ellis is aboard. And the batter will be the catcher, Alfonzo. For Aaron Miles, that's only his 4th error, and he's played second and third this year. Alfonzo lined out to center, grounded to third, single to center. Ball 1. Chris Nelson, the speedster, who is taking over for Jason Jamey. Jamey went out with a bad leg, and Nelson is on deck to bat for Aaron Cook. Cook made 97 pitches, and that would be his high for the year. Cook had made 94 pitches against the Yankees, and 97 is the cutoff number for him tonight. So Ellis at first, nobody out, 2-0 Rockies in the 8th. 1-1. So both starting pitchers pitched well. Cook didn't give up a run. Kuroda gave up 1. One ball, 1 strike. You could see tonight, with all those ground balls, the command that Aaron Cook had. You can understand how he won 16 games a couple of years ago. You'd be fooled if you just looked at that 1-5 record he brought into the game. 1-1. And that's a hopper, speared by Carroll. Had to double clutch. It was stuck in the glove, but they still have time to get the catcher. So the double play, 4-6-3. That's where it stuck, right there. But Alfonzo out by plenty. So with 2 out, Chris Nelson coming up, batting for Aaron Cook. Nelson is the boy who came up and joined the club last year. They were playing the Cincinnati Reds. He got on base and electrified the crowd by stealing home. Off speed for a strike. So Jamey is down. One man's misfortune is another man's break. Chris Nelson out of Decatur, Georgia. He was a first-round pick by the Rockies 7 years ago. 5'11", 190. Colorado Springs last year, he had a dozen home runs. 1-1. Back in 2003, as his mates look on, Aaron Cook along with Todd Helton, Chris Nelson led his team to the Connie Mack World Series title 8 years ago. 2-1. And a strike. 2-2. Brandon Phillips, the fine infielder, he graduated from the same high school that produced Chris Nelson. Poked foul, so he's still up there at 2-2. Nelson had signed a letter of intent to accept a scholarship from the University of Georgia, but the Rockies persuaded him to turn pro. Why not? A contract over $2 million. 2-2. And a little ground ball to Carroll. Got him. So an error followed by the double play ball, followed by the ground ball. Dodgers will have Furcal, Ethier, and Kemp in the 8th. 2-0 Rockies. 2-0 lead. Bottom of the 8th inning. The Dodgers with Furcal, Ethier, and Kemp. And they'll take a look at the young left-hander Rex Brothers. Brothers is 23 years old. He was signed just 2 years ago, and here he is pitching in the big leagues. He has 11 walks and 26 strikeouts. We had a look at him last night. He made only 5 pitches and retired the 2 batters that he faced, striking out 1. So Rex going to work, and here's Furcal, 2 singles and a walk, but now batting right-handed. Fastball, strike. Raphael single to right, got as far as second. In the 3rd inning, single to center, got as far as second. In the 5th inning, walked and was thrown out trying to steal. Fastball in there, 0-2. Brothers well put together. Working on Furcal. Rex a solid 210. Fastball. And he's throwing 97. He graduated out of Shelbyville, Tennessee High School. Described as a good old country boy. Accepted a scholarship. I assume the school is in Tennessee, Lipscomb. Became a full NCAA school 7 years ago. 1-2 to Furcal. Rex Brothers. Young fella. 2 years in the minors. And he takes care of Furcal. 1 away. He has that explosive fastball. We've seen him hit 97. He just took care of Furcal with a slider. And he has a fairly decent changeup, but they tell me he doesn't throw it very often. So 1 out in the 8th. Furcal giving way to Andre Ethier. And drops that slider in there, strike 1. Ethier faced Reynolds last night, and Reynolds Brothers struck him out. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Andre hitting .295, .234 against left-hand pitching. 1-1. Matt Kemp on deck. Fastball overthrew it. 2-1 to count. Ball will have to be retrieved, so timeout for a minute. In the minor leagues, the Tulsa pitching coach said that Rex Brothers compared a little bit to Billy Wagner. He's not monkeying around. That's 95. 2-2 the count to Andre Ethier. Legs are so important to pitchers, and Rex Brothers has some pretty big thighs. Fastball. So with those legs, he hopes to have a long and profitable career. An even 6, 210. Well, after seeing a couple of fastballs, you're wondering now if he's going to show Ethier a slider. That's what got Furcal. Nope, fastball. Up and in at 96. And just like that, this young left-hander comes in, strikes out Furcal and Ethier, and the batter is Matt Kemp. Right in there, no chance. So a great pitch. And now Brothers working on Matt Kemp. Kemp, of course, the offensive leader with 24 home runs. So it was very important to get the two men in front of him. And a little slider low, ball one. 1-0. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Rockies 2 runs, 8 hits. Dodgers no runs, 6 hits. Fastball whacked to left. That's over the head of Young and against the wall. Matt rounding first, jogging for second, and he's in there with a double. So it was so important for the left-hander to get for COL and ETH here, and he did by striking them both out. And a high fastball. Actually, he got away with that. That's a ball that Matt would normally hit into the pavilion. As it is, he doubles to left, and Aaron Miles coming up. So for the Dodgers, they get their first extra base hit tonight. It was a double for Kemp, his 22nd. Bob Apodaca, the veteran pitching coach, going out to talk to young brothers. They will turn Miles around. He'll bat right-handed. Interestingly enough, Miles has better numbers batting right-handed than left. Miles coming into the game hitting .367 against left-hand pitching and .288 against right-hand pitching. Since the 4th of June, Miles has been hitting .364. And that's over 37 games. Tonight, Miles, 2 ground balls and a hard single off Mark Ellis' glove. For the Dodgers, their 4th runner at second base tonight. Stewart playing even with the bag at third. Fastball lifted to right center. Coming in and over is Seth Smith. So Miles doesn't hang around. Fly ball to right. No runs, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts for young Rex Brothers. And at the end of 8, 2-0 Rockies. In the 5th inning on 3 consecutive singles with 2 out. Base hits by Young, Fowler, and Tulowitzki. And then in the 7th inning with 2 out, Tulowitzki doubled and Ty Wigginton doubled him on. And that's it. 2-0 Rockies, and we've arrived at the 9th inning. McDougald, who pitched the 8th, will now be pitching to the top of the Rockies lineup. That means Young, Fowler, and Tulowitzki. with a bonus baby in the back on Mom's head. That's a shot right behind the hitters. There he is. Oh, yeah. Boys and girls together, having a good time tonight as we go to the ninth. Great. Friday night, Arizona Diamondbacks. Justin Upton with 2 home runs tonight has 20. One of the home runs he hit to the top of the building in San Diego down the left field line. Ball 1. EY struck out twice, single to center, scored a run. Last time up, grounded to short. Hard ground ball. Oh, what a play by James Loney. With young speed, that's at least a double. And Loney is there to save the moment.
Number 24, Dexter.
Very big play by James. That thing is sure extra bases. So 1 out. And the batter, Dexter Fowler. Tried to touch it with the glove, couldn't reach that far. Though James up and at him. Fowler popped up, flied to center, singled to center, and struck out. And a strike. The Diamondbacks held on, beat the Padres 4-3. Jesus Montero gunned down Orlando Hudson, who was the tying run trying to steal second base, and that ended the game. 1-1. J.J. Putz is back. He saved the game tonight. And we told you Justin Upton hit 2 home runs at Petco Park. The rare slugger to do that. And of course, Upton will be here Friday night. Ball 2, 2-1. Two runs, 8 hits for the Rockies. No runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. Loney, Barajas, and Carroll will be due up in the bottom of the ninth. 2-1. Fouled away. 2-2. Waiting on deck, Troy Tulowitzki, who singled in 1 run and scored the other. So involved in both runs. Carries that deuce off his shirt and puts it on the scoreboard. Time. And that's lifted to left. Here comes Gwynn, but he'll have to keep it in front of him. Dangerous to leave his feet, especially when the batter has the speed of Fowler. If that had gotten by Tony, Fowler would probably be at third. However, Young was robbed on the play by Loney, and Tony made sure that ball was not going to get through him. So for Fowler, 2 more hits. Games, he's cleaning up down there at first. So Troy Tulowitzki struck out twice, but then singled to center to drive in a run, then doubled to right with 2 out and scored a run. Now trying to move Fowler around with 1 out in the 9th inning. McDougal not quite ready. McDougal has only allowed 3 runs since June the 18th. 1 ball and no strikes to Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki 1 for 1 against McDougal. Fowler, a threat to run. McDougal is conscious of Fowler for sure. Fowler has stolen 5, but he has been caught 7 times. One ball and no strikes to Troy Tulowitzki. And dropped that in nicely for a strike. 1-1. We still haven't gotten official word, but we understand that tonight Carlos Beltran said goodbye to his teammates and left the Mets in Cincinnati. He's due to join the Giants in Philadelphia and then fly with the Giants back to Cincinnati for a Friday game. 2-1. So he could probably leave his clothes in the hotel. But they still have not acknowledged the fact that Carlos Beltran has waived his no trade clause and will be playing for the Giants. 2-1 to Tulo. Fowler goes. Pitch is a strike, and the throw, he is in there. So Dexter Fowler steals his 6th. 2-2 the count to Tulowitzki. Barajas got it down there just slightly off the mark, so the tag was late. That late. Not much in the big leagues. So Fowler looking for a ride home. Tulo trying to pick him up. 2-2 the count. 1 out. 29,976 taken in the ball game. Slider, ball 3. Seth Smith on deck has a single and a double and 2 intentional walks. Three and 2 to Tulowitzki. And a ground ball off the glove for Call. I'm not sure if he was screened as Fowler went by. Sometimes a hockey goaler, he'll not see the puck as somebody skates one way and the puck comes the other. Might take another look. Ground ball, watch Fowler, jumps up. Oh, I guess not. So it's off for Call's glove. It is now 3-0 in favor of the Rockies. That's going to be ruled a base hit. And Fowler scores. And now Don Mattingly is going to have to make a change with the left-hand hitting Seth Smith. He's got Stott Elbert down in the bullpen, and Scotty's going to be called in. McDougal will come out. So Kuroda allowed 1, Hawksworth allowed 1, McDougal has allowed 1, and we'll be back. Tulowitzki had been struggling in the first two games, popping up with the bases loaded, popping up with a rally in the middle, but not tonight. Tonight, with runners in scoring position, he continues. He's had a pair of two-out singles, and with runners in scoring position and two outs, that's the toughest time to get a hit. Tulowitzki's batting .378. Tonight he is 3 for 5, knocked in 2 and scored 1. Though it is 3-0 Rockies, Seth Smith now will be facing Scott Elbert. 0-1. Scott Elbert, as you can see in the right-hand side, has struck out 16. And that's over 15 1/3 innings. Foul ball, so he has Seth Smith 0-2. Still only one out, remember, and that out was the great save by James Loney on the ball hit by Eric Young. Seth singled in the second inning, doubled in the fourth. They walked him intentionally in the fifth. They walked him intentionally in the seventh. 2 for 2. And ball one. Seth Smith working against Scott Elbert. To repeat, when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the ninth, Loney, Barajas, and Carroll. Waved at a fastball. So Seth Smith pushed aside by Scott Elbert, and now Ty Wigginton.
First baseman, number 21, Ty Wigginton.
Ty Wigginton walked twice, struck out with the bases loaded, and then doubled to drive in a big run in the seventh inning. There goes the runner, Tulowitzki. The throw is down there in plenty of time. Troy didn't look like he was running very hard, and he also didn't get much of a jump. Tulowitzki had stolen 7 out of 9. It's 3-0 Rockies. The ninth inning, and Jim Tracy makes 3 moves. He brings in Todd Helton to take over at first base. He brings in Ryan Spilborghs to play left field, and he brings in Houston Street to try to turn out the lights. James Loney will be leading it off. We're not sure if I had to guess and I was keeping score, I'd put Houston Street in the leadoff spot, formerly occupied by Eric Young. And then it's just a question, do you want Helton to lead off if there is a 10th inning, or Spilborg? So Houston Street, as far as his record this year, he is 1-3, but he has saved 26 games. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to put Helton in Wigginton's spot. They're going to put Spilborg batting ninth, and Street will go in EY's spot. The Colorado bullpen, third highest in holds, 12th lowest in inherited runners who score. They don't pick up a lot of wins in relief, and the bullpen has blown 16 possible saves. But Houston Street, his save percentage is 93%. He saved 26 out of 28. So here's Loney, 1 for 3. And ball one. Checking the pass. James Loney against Houston Street. James is 0 for 7. 2-0. Loney made a big play to prevent the Rockies from scoring more than one in the top of the ninth inning. 2-0. 3-0. Checking Street, he has only walked 7 and he has struck out 42. So 6-1, and he's behind 3-0 to Loney. On the corner, Houston Street is an even 6, 190. 28 years old, out of Austin, Texas. His dad was an all-conference pitcher for the University of Texas, along with Bert Hooton. Another strike. His father, James, earned more notoriety. He was quarterback of the Longhorns' 1970 team that won the Cotton Bowl. 3-2. And that's going down the line, foul and out of play. Houston Street's father suffered a groin injury in the College World Series, but he did spend a year on the rodeo circuit as a singer, opening up for Willie Nelson. 3-2. And lined the other way. 29,976 were here when the game started. Game a little over 3 hours old. So Houston's dad was a big college star, and his mom was a high school cheerleader. Three and two. And another foul ball, so Loney is still there. 3 runs, 10 hits for the Rockies. No runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. Each side with 1 error. And another foul ball. So Loney hanging tough. He had the count his way, 3-0. But they're staying 3-2 locked in here. So far, 9 pitches, 4 foul balls. And lifted on the infield. Tulowitzki is calling. So Loney pops it up to the shortstop. 1 out in the 9th inning. And the batter will be Rod Barajas. For the Dodgers, they had Furcal get to second base twice. They had Loney get to second base once. And they had Kemp with a double. So they've had 4 runners at second base. They have not had a runner at third. And the Rockies lead 3-0. Barajas, last time up, sent Dexter Fowler on the dirt track in center for his long out. Ball 1. Rod hitting .208 with 8 home runs, 21 runs batted in. That's a strike. Barajas has had a lot of success against Street. He is 7 for 11 with a home run. So he brings up a .636 batting average against Street. 1-1. 1-2. Two and two. Street, fastball that gets up to about 94. He has a very good slider. He throws his change basically to left-hand hitters. And he has a 2-2 count. And a high drive to left field. Barajas owns him, I think. Yep, it's gone. Dodgers get on the board. So Rod Barajas is 8 for 12 with 2 home runs against Houston Street. But he comes up with the bases empty and the Dodgers trail 3-1. Barajas' 9th home run of the year, pretty much no doubt about it. Barajas' last home run was against Colorado in Denver. His home run was against Ubaldo Jimenez. The Rod hits it out, but the Dodgers still down by 2. And the batter will be Jamey Carroll. And a strike. For Houston Street, in 45 innings, that's the 9th home run that he's allowed. And on deck, Juan Rivera. He would bat for Scott Elbert. In there, 0-2 to Jamey. Rockies 3, Dodgers 1. 1 out, 9th inning. Oh and 2. Time. Carroll is 3 for 7 in the past against Street. That's .429. In the dirt. Dodgers trying to do it the hard way, down 3-0 in the 9th. And with 1 out, Barajas hits 1 out. 1-2 to Carroll. And Rivera on deck. Bounce that thing. "19 pitches made by Houston Street here in the 9th inning. Barajas enjoying the fruits of his labor, that 9th home run of the year. 1 out. 2-2 to Jamey. And fouled away. So Loney made him work. Loney a 10-pitch at bat with 4 foul balls. Then Barajas hit a 2-2 pitch for a home run. And now Jamey's making him work. 2-2 the count. Barajas sweating out the pitches to Carroll. He pokes one foul. So Jamey's still up there. Carroll is another fellow like Tulowitzki, like Helton, a veteran coming into the game. He had walked 33 times and struck out only 36. So they wear you out, those kind of players. 2-2. Little ground ball, foul. Still 2-2 to Jamey. Last year, left-handers hit .208 against Street. Right-handers hit .238. For Carroll, this will be his 8th pitch. He's fouled off 3. Fouled away. Street, as we told you, came in with 42 strikeouts and only 7 walks. Had a lot of pitches to Loney, who finally popped up. Barajas followed on a 2-2 count and hit it out. And now here's Carroll trying to wear him down with Rivera on deck. Foul back again. Three runs, 10 hits for the Rockies, 1 run, 8 hits for the Dodgers. Rockies left 7 men in the first 5 innings. Aaron Cook turned in a great job for a strong 7. That's another foul ball. So Jamey hitting him every which way. Still 2-2. Trying somehow to get aboard. It's now been a 10-pitch at bat and 6 foul balls. And finally got him on the 11th pitch. So Carroll strikes out. 2 out. And Juan Rivera will be coming up to bat for Scott Elbert. That was quite a battle. Carroll and Street. Juan Rivera played first base last night, went 0 for 3. He started in left field in the first game of the series and had a double. So he's had 1 hit, 2 for 5 in the past against Street. Ball 1. Street now has made 27 pitches. Blake Hawksworth pitched the 7th inning and made 29 pitches. 1-0 to Juan. Fouled away. Years ago, there was a player in the American League whose name was Jim Rivera, and I think he played for the White Sox. They called him Jungle Jim Rivera. Maybe that rings a bell with you. Well, here's Juan Rivera out of Guarenas in Venezuela. 1 ball, 1 strike. And hit down the line, slicing foul out of play. 1-2 to Rivera. And looking at Juan's numbers since coming to the Dodgers, he has walked twice and he has struck out 7 times. He is 2 for 5 in the past, as we said, against Street. Trey Hillman, Don Mattingly, Ted Lilly taking in the action. 1-2. And a little low. Don't forget, Friday night on Prime Ticket, Josh Colmenter and Ted Lilly with Arizona. Saturday night, Micah Owing and Chad Billingsley. Sunday afternoon, Joe Saunders and Ruby De La Rosa. And the Dodgers then will go out to San Diego and Arizona. 2-2 to Rivera. Time. And popped up around the plate. It will be Alfonzo, and that'll be that. So Rivera fouls out. The Dodgers get 1 run on the home run by Barajas. That was not enough to overcome a great job turned in by Aaron Cook and the clutch hitting of Troy Tulowitzki. So the Dodgers rest tomorrow, and then here comes Arizona starting Friday night. For Houston Street, that was a tough 9th inning. He made 31 pitches before he could get the Dodgers out. 3-10-1 for the Rockies, 1-8-1 for the Dodgers. The winning pitcher would be Aaron Cook, and the loser, despite the fact he went 6 strong and gave up 1 run, Hiroki Kuroda. That'll do it for tonight. We'll be chatting with you Friday night. Until then, we wish you all a very pleasant good evening, everybody.